So Yuriner Dorticos scores a second round knockout over Dmitry Kudryashov to advance to the semi-finals of the World Boxing Super Series and retain his WBA regular cruiserweight world title. This was a fantastic performance by Dorticos. What did I like especially about his performance? I liked his calmness in the eye of the storm. Kudryashov is a phenomenal puncher. That's one thing he's known for. Dorticos didn't show the slightest bit of fear standing in front of Kudryashov, blocking his power shots and what have you. Many fighters, when they feel Kudryashov's power, and in this fight, trust me, in the first round, Kudryashov got plenty of shots in on Kudryashov's body and arms. He would have felt how hard this guy was punching. Kudryashov, physically, a much more muscular and strong-looking fighter than Dorticos. Dorticos kind of soft-bodied, slightly fleshy, loose-limbed kind of guy. Doesn't really look powerful. Kudryashov looks powerful. He looks imposing. And he definitely hit Dorticos with some shots there, which would have intimidated a lot of cruiserweights. Dorticos wasn't worried in the slightest. And despite Kudryashov looking the heavier-handed of the two, Dorticos was definitely the sharper, definitely the faster, and the more fluid. His movement was very, very good. His punches were coming out fluidly, very sharp, even in the first round. And as I say, he was standing right in front of Kudryashov, and he wasn't bothered at all about anything that was coming back. He was blocking the shots quite easily. Did make Kudryashov look slow. Did make him look basic. But it was a competitive first round. Second round comes in. Dorticos is really starting to let some seriously hard shots fly. And I got the impression that Kudryashov was starting to... How can I explain it? He was starting, I think, to feel the force of Dorticos' shots. And I think they were taking something out of him. Even before the knockout shot landed, the shots were taking something out of Kudryashov. His energy level, I think, was dropping as he was getting hit with these hard shots. And they weren't catching him totally flush. They were kind of maybe bouncing off the side of his head or catching him on the chest and then deflecting off his face. But he felt the sharpness, he felt the weight of him. And I do think that the knockout was coming before it actually came, if that makes sense. I just had the feeling that Kudryashov looked a little bit distressed prior to the knockout. And then the big right hand landed. Kudryashov missed the left hook. And that to me was a sign that he was a little bit out of sorts. Because the way he missed the left hook, it looked like a bit of a desperate shot. Like he was trying desperately to land something very hard himself. And yeah, through the left hook, he wasn't wildly out of position when he missed the left hook. But it left enough of a gap for Dorticos to slide a very well delivered right hand through Kudryashov's defenses, landed bang on the side of his face. Kudryashov crumpled to the canvas. He didn't even fall straight backwards like you see when sometimes when people suffer heavy knockdowns, their legs go stiff and they fall straight backwards like a plank of wood. That's not how Kudryashov fell. He kind of crumbled to the canvas. It was a weird kind of reaction when he got hit, but he was seriously hurt. His eyes were rolling in his head. He tried to get up. I think he got up about the count of 8 or 9, but the referee decided no. He wasn't in any position to continue. Definitely a good stoppage by the referee. And a great performance by Yuriner Dorticos. As I say, he advances to the semi-finals. And he'll face the winner of the Gassiev... God, I forget what his opponent's name is now. Wlodarczyk. I believe it's Wlodarczyk, yeah. The Gassiev-Wlodarczyk fight. Now, I hadn't seen much of Dorticos before this tournament. This is one of the first really good looks I've had of him. I have seen some other footage, prior to watching him fight live here, but there isn't that much available on YouTube. Based on what I saw here, going in there with a serious puncher like Kudryashov and handling him the way that he did, I make him favourite to beat either Gassiev or Wlodarczyk. Why? Because Gassiev technically is not a particularly skilled fighter. Gassiev gets by on his size, his physical strength, and his punching power. But technically, and I'm telling you this now, technically, Kudryashov is actually better schooled than Gassiev. Gassiev did not have an extensive amateur career, which is unusual for Eastern European fighters, but he did not have an extensive amateur career. I think he only had about 20 amateur fights or something. And it shows, because technically he's just not at the level that most Eastern European fighters are, particularly by the time they become world champions. So technically, I don't think he's even as good as Kudryashov. He surely don't punch any harder than Kudryashov. He might be physically stronger, possibly. He might take a better shot than Kudryashov because, you know, some people believe Kudryashov is a bit chinny. But I don't know. I would make Dorticas favor over Gassiev. I think he's a better boxer. I think he's sharper. I think he's faster. And just way better technically than Gassiev is. So I personally believe he can beat Gassiev. And hopefully there'll be no politics involved because this is the World Boxing Super Series. It's a tournament format. Hopefully the tournament doesn't have any favorites in terms of, you know, treating people favorably. I know fights are going to be in people's hometowns and home countries at certain times. But again, I hope that doesn't equate to hometown cooking because it is under the World Boxing Super Series banner. So yeah, I make Dorticas, in my mind, favourite to beat Gassiev or Wlodarczyk in the semi-finals, and maybe the dark horse to win the tournament, possibly. Alexander Usyk is expected to be in the final, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. You've got Maris Bridis and Mike Perez that have got a fight in their quarterfinal. That's going to be a very interesting one. And then the winner of that will meet Usyk, I believe. Yeah, winner of that will meet Usyk. And then we'll see who wins between Usyk and that guy and who meets up in the final. Do you make Dorticas the dark horse to win the tournament? You guys, was this the first time that you'd seen him fight live, like me? How impressed were you with Dorticas? Because I was very impressed. Very, very impressed. And his calmness in the eye of the storm in front of such a serious puncher is testament to the incredible amount of amateur fights that this guy's had and all the tough sparring that he had in Cuba. You know, he's probably been in there with guys who hit even harder than Kudryashov in the gym and in fights in Cuba and whatnot. So he was very, very comfortable in there. He's like he was boxing somebody in his living room. That's how comfortable Dorticas is in the ring. He's a very, very relaxed, comfortable, confident fighter. So yeah, I'm very impressed. Let me know how impressed you were. Drop your comments in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.